Hello and welcome back, everybody. We're here in the top of the ninth inning with your Cincinnati Reds with a commanding 13-1 lead. We've got Brent Suter, I believe, back out on the mound to finish this thing off. As we roll through some highlights here, you got myself, Eric Phillips, you got Mike Hart with you again on this beautiful Saturday where it looks like we are very well prepared to take the first two games of the series against the D-backs. So excited to see. Mike, I mean, as we're watching this thing, I know we're going to get into some box score recaps of both games and kind of wrap this thing up on the other end of this. But here watching the ninth, it's a lot of fun.
Man, this was a fun day of baseball. To walk it off like that and just have that exhilaration of a game that, frankly, didn't feel like we were setting ourselves up to win. It felt like we were missing all the opportunities again, and then CES delivers, and then to just come on and immediately in the first inning drop 5 on them. It just felt great. I'd like to take a little bit of credit because I picked up Ryan Nelson in my fantasy baseball league as an emotional hedge. I was like, I can totally see this guy going 6 shutout against us, and then he dropped 5 earned runs in the first inning. So you're welcome. You're welcome. I'll do whatever it takes for this Reds team.
I'm an emotional hedger myself. I'm looking at it tomorrow already. I wonder what the Reds under is. Take Diamondbacks money line and the under, and then maybe parlay that with the Oklahoma City Thunder, making an even series and just kind of seeing what kind of a crazy money we can get on a parlay tomorrow between the two. So,
are you a Pacers fan?
I have a rooting interest. I got a buddy that is. I'm not a big NBA guy, but if I had to pick somebody to root for right now, it definitely would be the Pacers. That's a really nice play by Encarnacion-Strand at third base. That's what I've been wanting to see. As it's been dead time and this game's been in hand for a long time, I've been wanting to see CES, kind of get a couple of balls. And there's out number 2. We're real close to having this one belong to the Reds. We're 2 outs at the top of the ninth. So we'll be ready to go here. Remember, folks, on the weekends, we do take just a 1:30 break. We'll be back over and then having you guys join us on the other side here. We'll get into box score recaps. It's a long show for us tonight. We got 2 games to recap, a lot to talk about, a lot of fun stuff, a lot of excitement. Going to have a lot of energy. I'll have some beers on the other end of this thing too. And it actually is it was not Brent Suter. It's Lyon Richardson actually in there for the night. So a little bit of a surprise as we, kind of assumed that he was going to get back out there and save another bullpen arm. But I guess everybody's only given 1 inning, and, that's the way Tito went into this thing. And after a couple of days of rest, you can't really blame him in that capacity.
I think he probably wants Suter available for tomorrow. This team, Arizona is not as good against left-handed pitching. I think he's just trying to save all of his left-handed bullets to be able to go in tomorrow as well.
Yeah. Well, we've got him 0-2, so here we go. Come on, Lyon. Oh, the zone did get increasingly big as this game got in hand. So,
I tell you what, I can't complain.
No, I'm sure the folks in the stadium, after getting a little wet there, I thought for sure we were into a rain delay situation because the way that system looked early, I thought it was a big thing moving. And so I thought for sure that's what it was when the rain started to come. I thought we were in for another long haul. But it was just a little spray shower, and we won't catch the heavy stuff till later on this evening. But get everybody a chance to get out of there. Grounds crew did a great job getting the field ready. They talked about it over and over again. I know the chat is ahead of us in the game day. I'm sure you are too, Mike. I'm watching it live here, so give me just a second. And let me see Lyon Richardson finish this thing out real quick. We got a full count, 2 outs. And that's a K, and that's going to end it. So we will see you folks on the other half of this minute and 50-second break, I think, is how long it takes. So hang with us. We'll be in there. We'll recap both of these games. But thank you for joining us for the ninth, and we'll see you here in just a few.
High drive, left center field, racing back to the Laurel Bourgeois. The Reds are National League Central Division champions. In the air, left center field. Did he? He did! He did! Reds win! Home runs
Hello, hello, and welcome into a winning edition, not just once, but a double winning edition of Chatterbox Reds. I'm Eric Phillips. I'm joined by Mike Hart. We are your weekend crew this weekend. Appreciate you tuning in wherever you are. If you're watching us live on YouTube, please like the stream. Tell your friends about it. Share the link. Do whatever you got to do. We'd love to get more eyes on this thing. If you're listening on whatever podcast version you're on, please leave us a review. We appreciate all the help. But your Cincinnati Reds take 2 baseball games today from the Arizona Diamondbacks. And, man, it feels good to feel a little bit of energy and a little bit of commotion. I mean, I feel like we're back. We haven't felt this way since the Will Benson back-to-back, or actually the 3-game streak that Will Benson went on there against the Guardians. And hopefully tomorrow CES can carry us through to a sweep as well because, man, the injection into the energy for this team seems to have been found by one Christian Encarnacion-Strand. I will get into a quick box score recap. And then I'll bring you in, Mike, if that works out. In game 1, the top of the 7th, we came out with Graham Ashcraft. After a game was suspended yesterday, it was 3-3 after 6 innings. Today, we get a chance to kind of reshuffle the deck and get an opportunity to get Elly De La Cruz, into town and on the bench and ready to play. We'll talk more about that here later. But starting off with a recap of game 1. In the top of the 7th, Graham Ashcraft comes in and gets a 1-2-3 top of the 7th, assisted by a very nice sliding play by Gavin Lux, who was playing second base. In the bottom of the 7th, Juan Moreno, a right-handed pitcher, throws over 100-mile-an-hour, comes in for the D-backs. And after a TJ Friedel walk, a Santiago Espinal sacrifice bunt, and then a Tyler Stevenson walk, Spencer Steer walks to load the bases. They bring in left-handed pitcher Jalen Beeks. Christian Encarnacion-Strand strikes out. Big spot for him where we had runner on third, less than 2 outs. It felt like we kind of pissed away a chance after Jose Trevino lines one back off the pitcher. Thought he might have had a bang play at first base, but he was out by a good couple of steps. But we leave the 7th empty-handed after having the bases loaded with just 1 out. That takes over to the top of the 8th. Graham Ashcraft is lifted out. He's not lifted out. Graham continues and pitches around a Tim Tawa double. And he ends up getting out of the situation there. And that takes us to the bottom of the 8th where we go 3 up and 3 down. Getting into the top of the 9th, in comes Emilio Pagan. He throws a very decent, clean top of the 9th. In the bottom of the 9th, we go 1, 2, 3 in order at the top of our order. And then that takes us to extra innings where you get the additional base runner out on second base. The Reds turn to Tony Santillan. Suarez started the inning at second base as he was the last out in the 9th. Corbin Carroll ground out to second base, moves Suarez to third. Jose Herrera then walks, so you've got runners on first and third with 1 out, and 2 big strikeouts from Tony Santillan keeps the game tied at 3-3. In the bottom of the 10th, Tyler Stevenson would have been our second base ghost runner. They switch that out and go to Jake Fraley. A little bit of a risky move there, as Tyler Stevenson is the only catcher that you've got left behind Jose Trevino. Not sure what an emergency catcher situation looks like on this team, but by putting Fraley in there, you're kind of pushing all your chips to the middle of the table. It doesn't look like a great bet as Spencer Steele strikes out, but then Christian Encarnacion-Strand hits another missile to center field on a ball that knuckles and makes the center fielder take 1 misstep. And in doing so, he looks a little silly as the ball dives right in front of him. But that walk-off hit, I believe they considered it a double, even though he did circle around the bases and touch third. Your Cincinnati Reds get their first walk-off win of the 2025 season. And it's Christian Encarnacion-Strand. He was the hero last night and kept us in it. Gave us the opportunity to tie the game up late, and then comes back through and delivers in the 10th tonight. First walk-off win of the year. Reds win 4-3. What are your initial thoughts on game 1, Mike?
Well, I think Justin Edgel, who sent in a super chat, I think he summed it up great. He says CES has massive grapefruits, as how he described it. I think it's pretty safe to say we don't win that game without him, right? We don't even make it to the suspended game without his home run in the rain, and then that missile that he sent to center was incredible. So it's just great to see us win a game like that. Felt like we had a lot of opportunities, and we'll get into those opportunities and who should have been hitting when against what pitchers and things like that. We'll get into that a little bit later. But man, it felt like once Santillan got out of the top of the 10th, I was like, okay, well, maybe we have a chance here. I think I texted you, Eric. I was like, all right, well, this game's going to go a little bit longer because I just didn't have any faith that we were going to score. No. And, but I was wrong. I perfectly timed reverse jinx and CES proved me wrong and had that walk-off. So, it's great to see. That's the type of thing that can really spark a team, right? The walk-off home run robbery that we saw for TJ Friedl earlier, plus then the walk-off hit by CES. Those are the type of things. That's the fire that this team seems to have been missing, right? This is our first one of the year. It's the first time that we've been losing in the 6th inning and been able to come back and win a game. Like there's a lot of monkeys off of backs that were thrown off this afternoon. And hopefully that is a good sign for what we have coming up in the rest of this series, but also the season.
Yeah, and I think even more monkeys off. I think that's the first extra inning games that you've won. That's the first time you've actually scored the ghost runner.
Yeah.
How embarrassing is that? I think, what are you, 1-4 now in extra innings?
1 and 5.
And all of it, you're 1-5 in extra
Yeah.
innings. And that's the first time you scored the ghost runner. Like you want to talk about situational hitting and these guys not coming through. And, it just seems like we leave a lot of meat on the bone a lot of times. I mean, nothing says it more than there, but I know in some of the extra inning games, we've been out of it by the time we come to the plate. I know in at least 2 of those 5 that's been the situation, but it all comes from one guy and one injection into this lineup, and it's Christian Encarnacion-Strand. And I think that's the topic that I've got. Our topics for the first game are the CES returns, the bullpen delivers, and then topic 3 is the lineup discussions. In a game where you win 4-3 and you lift so many weights off of your back, there is still question and concern about the decision-making of Terry Francona. And we're going to get into that here shortly. But first, let's give CES his flowers. The dude goes and hits 2 missiles to center field last night. 1 leaves the ballpark. 1 goes out at 107 out to center field for a base hit. He ends the game 3 for 5 with 3 hits, a double. He's a triple shy of the cycle. And all those balls are hit right back up the middle. We'll talk about his game 2 antics as we get into the recap and everything there. But
yeah,
what an unbelievable day from Christian Encarnacion-Strand. Picks up right where he left off and really comes through and delivers. And it's a guy that he looks confident. He looks normal. He looks healthy. Heaven forbid you let this team actually play with the young nucleus that, they talked about the 2023 Rally Reds a lot today. And they said, we really haven't seen that core group really get an opportunity. And we're still not there as Noelvi Marte still sits on the side. So really excited to see for our guy, big 33. It's awesome. And he played good defense as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you look at win probability added, I know a lot of people don't love that stat, but it's basically based on the score and the outs and things like that. With each play, how much win probability did you add or did you subtract because of what you did? In the first game, the leader in win probability added was Christian Encarnacion-Strand with 36.6%. In the second game, the leader was Christian Encarnacion-Strand with 21.0. So it's safe to say that in both of these games, we are, he's the pivotal reason why we won those games. And so it's just great to see somebody who's been touted as, hey, this guy is a good young bat come through, and because we've just seen so many examples of that not happen so far this year. So I was very excited. I think it also that game highlighted exactly how the Reds can continue to string some wins together, right? They get great pitching. They get good pitching. Lodolo had 1 bad inning, but then the bullpen comes in and Ashcraft gives you 2. Pagan gives you a good 9th, and then Santillan with his ghost runner on strands him in third base. Like those are your 3 best relievers. They came in and did exactly what they need. Is like if the Reds keep getting that and it just literally takes 1 person of offense to win that game, right? It takes Christian Encarnacion-Strand, and then we win that game. And that just wasn't what we were getting. So it's great. It's very refreshing to see this aspect of how the Reds can win games, get awesome pitching or get pretty good pitching, and then just string together a couple good innings, and we'll take the win. So I really like that.
Yeah, and to me, it's one of those. It has to build confidence in guys too, because you look up and down the lineup and think that you have to be the hero. And now we've seen TJ Friedl carry us. We've seen Will Benson carry us. We've seen Elly carry us. We've seen Christian Encarnacion-Strand carry us. You have to collectively feel that as a team and realize that, hey, I'm not going to hit this 8-run home run and put us back into this. You know what I mean? Like those games where you go on those long streaks and you get shut out because a pitcher's dealing, or because the team is so contagious when it comes to hitting, it seems like that as different guys show their merit and give us that opportunity to win us some ball games and carry us on a little bit of a run, I think up and down the lineup, it's not just Encarnacion-Strand's confidence. It's the protection of Elly De La Cruz as CES now slides into the 4-hole as we saw in game 2 today. It's just everything around it. Just, the rising tide raises all ships, and hopefully 1 through 9, this is a situation where this lineup can continually get better. We're still middle of the pack in terms of run production. Another 13 spot today is an outlier, of course, and that's going to inflate some statistics kind of artificially. But when you can start to, put together a few more of these, if you can match your 10-plus run games to your shutout games and your 1-run games, that's when this team's really going to find its balance. And I honestly think we can get there. I think we can have more 10-plus run production games than shutouts and 1-run, even though we're already on the board for 9 of those, 10 of those. So I think those
too
days
many.
are coming. Yeah, way too many. But it's a hell of a lot more fun to watch it this way. I'll tell you that. And tuning in after we spoiled the chance in the 7th, my hopes weren't great. I kind of thought the Christian Encarnacion-Strand being a hero was going to come early, and it was going to give us a chance to be more manipulative with that bullpen. But, we're going to drill him here in a minute for the lineup decisions with the position players. But the way that he handled the bullpen today and the aggressiveness that he went out and said, we're trying to win this game now. It's a 3-inning baseball game. We're the home team. We're going to throw the closer. We're going to do everything we can. And like you said, Graham Ashcraft giving you 2 gives the opportunity to close out with 2 guys that you feel very good in high leverage situations. Tony Santillan, more of a strikeout guy, so you give him the opportunity in the 10th. I love what we did, and game 2 was awesome. But now let's get into what we didn't like in game 2. I know you're very upset. You had texted me and kind of let me know. We've got a monster off the bench in Elly De La Cruz, and they decided to throw a right-handed pitcher to start the bottom of the 7th inning after Santiago Espinal had already played third base, and you let him sit on the bench, and you have Santiago Espinal bunt somebody over rather than giving Elly a chance there. So tell me what you think we should have done, or what you didn't like about how everything transpired there in game 1.
Yeah. So you kind of set the scene for us there. So we've got a guy on first, and there is a right-handed pitcher with Espinal at the plate. Espinal, who's won for his last 26, as you pointed out last night. Maybe even worse now, won for his last 20. Well, no, I guess the sack bunt doesn't count as an at bat, but still, he is very, very clearly, I think he's at 46 WRC plus against right-handed pitchers. And he leaves Elly, whose strong side is batting left-handed against right-handed pitching. He leaves him on the bench. And then the next inning, when they have their lefty in, instead of using him in the 7th in a way where he might even get 2 at-bats, which we saw Espinal got 2 at-bats, he would have gotten a second at-bat. Instead, he pinch hits for Benson and has him hitting right-handed, so his worst side against the left-handed pitcher, and he still gives you a good swing on it. But even if he'd homered there, I still hate this decision, because it's like the process here is like you're not setting your guys up to be in the positions that are their best. They had their best chance to succeed, right? It would be Elly in batting against a right-handed pitcher, not as a left-handed pitcher. And the only thing I could possibly think of for why he would have done this was that he didn't trust anyone else to play third base, right? It's like, because we had discussed last night, it's like maybe you move Lux to third, maybe you stick Elly at third, who knows? But I was at the end, I was like, well, I don't think this is a good reason, but he clearly doesn't trust anyone to play third base besides Espinal and Hampson, who's already out of the game. And then what do we see leading off the big game of the second game? We have CES playing third base. Why couldn't he have played third base? Like, you put CES at third, you put Steer at first, and then you put Fraley or whoever in the outfield, Lux in the outfield, and then you get Espinal out of the game, and you let Elly hit against 2 right-handed pitchers. Maybe you don't even go to extra innings. So I was just like, am I crazy? Like, what is going on? It's just like every move that is made seems like it just like didn't make much sense. And I know we won the game, but it's frustrating because it doesn't seem like we're maximizing this roster. We got platoon guys on this team. We don't have the luxury of having a bunch of guys that hit well enough against both hands. And if you have platoon guys, you need to adjust. You need to do it. And I didn't see that. And, Espinal batted again with Fraley on the bench against a right-handed pitcher. And it's just like, I'm not sure. Maybe the Espinal experiment is over. He didn't even play. I don't, or I'm not, I guess, I don't know.
He may have
how
gotten
much,
in at junk time.
yeah,
If he
may
did,
have gotten
I
in at the
didn't
end,
see
but
it.
just
Yeah, no, I think they did give him game 2 off.
But I right now, the place where I feel comfortable seeing Espinal is at the bottom of the lineup against a left-handed starter. And that is it. Don't put him in. Don't even put him in the lineup against a right-handed pitcher, especially not batting second. So I don't know. I know we won the game and we're supposed to be happy here. And I promise we're only doing positive for the rest of the day. But I just had to get that off of my chest because I just could not believe I felt like I was taking crazy pills. I was just like, what are we doing? Why would you not try to maximize your super sub off the bench? And, and I guess it ended up working because CES was inhuman today. But, this is.
I mean, he was handed a nuke to win the war and he decided not to fire it. And instead, he let his infantry troops go in and try to take care of business. And thankfully, CES is a good soldier and went in and took care of it for him. And it's weird because it seems like these heroic moments that we've had, CES carrying us for the last 2 days, the Will Benson Cleveland Guardians here, the Benson thing we had been clamoring for and asking for. Why isn't he up? Why isn't he up? Why isn't he up? He comes up, and it's almost like in spite of the decisions that were made. And then today you have a situation where Elly should be hitting. Elly should. What this is insane. Why are we not doing it? Why are we not doing this? And then Christian Encarnacion-Strand bails them out. And it shouldn't be. I mean, we're going to drill them when they lose because we've lost plenty. And so this is what we need to. Yeah, we just need more consistent decision making. And if he has a valid reason as to we didn't think we were ready or whatever it was, but the fact that Christian Encarnacion-Strand comes in and starts at third base in game 2. Yeah. Just absolutely eliminates any conversation of what could have happened, what should have happened, because Elly De La Cruz sitting on the bench with an opportunity just what is it what it was. I mean, that's not it. So I want to see better decision making, but that's what it is. We do have a super chat here from Michael Ruff, and we appreciate it, man. That's a bomb from you. Where it says keep Eric and Mike, Trace, and Nick stay at home. I'm telling you right now, guys, we don't do this without those two, and
no.
Those two lead this show like you wouldn't believe. I wouldn't be surprised if Kirby's Twitter fingers get back in here and start chatting about the decision-making process and things like that as he's on his way home. Where we need Nick Kirby is at the ballpark.
It seems that way.
Where we need my brother Corey is down at the ballpark.
That's right.
Both of their first 2 days at the ballpark this year, and we take home 2 in one day. So kudos to them. Hope they enjoyed it. Hope they had fun. Hope that rain wasn't too much of a damper on the plans. I know Kirby toting around the kids and stuff like that. That had the opportunity to go really south, but instead I think they're sending them home happy. So it's a lot of fun to see. But Rolf, we do appreciate you. And he says I'm not
got a little
superstitious.
Office. Yeah, he's got a little Office reference there. I'm not superstitious. I'm just a little stitious. So, hey, I'm with you, man. I told you I picked up Ryan Nelson to play on my fantasy team, and I sent multiple texts saying that we were done. So, I'm right there with you. I'll do my part to reverse jinx all we can to get some wins here for the Reds.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. So that's gonna recap game 1. Your Cincinnati Reds win 4-3. We take care of business. We win the opening game of a series. We move on to game 2, which actually I think gets started right at the 4:10 time frame, just the way everything was laid out to be, and they get that opportunity to kind of shuffle the deck, get a little bit of breather. It was a great post-game / pre-game show that they put on Fox Sports or on Fox Sports. Listen to me. FanDuel.
Hasn't been Fox Sports. That's like
hasn't been Fox
3
Sports
iterations ago.
I had an F in a sports, and that was it. I went with Fox. But the FanDuel guys did a really good job. LaCure and those boys did a great job on the pregame, postgame. But it was cool to see, and everything kind of stayed in rhythm. And so I'll get into a game 2 box score recap, and this one's a little bit on the lengthy side. So game 2 was a 4:10 first pitch at Great American Ballpark. We had Nick Martinez facing Ryan Nelson to the Arizona Diamondbacks in the top of the first. Things got going. We had a base hit by Pavin Smith. Something along the Pavin Smith. There we go. But a great play by Spencer Steer at first base creates a double play where he touches the bag, fields it on the run, makes the throw down, a good pick and tag play, gets us out of that first inning without anything hurt. And then comes the bottom of the first. A TJ Friedel walk leads things off. Santiago Espinal grounds out. Elly walks, and that puts CES up to the plate. He's hitting in the 4-hole. Again, the opportunity for him to hit in the 4-hole, which we'll get into, tells me that the leash is long for him. And he hits a 3-run bomb about 10, 15 rows up in the left field deck or in the left field seats. It was a no-doubter. absolutely crushed a high arcing shot. I imagine we've got some details on that one later as well, but that made it 3-0 Reds. Then Benson walks, Tyler Stevenson doubles, that gives us runners on second and third with one out. Spencer Steer delivers with a ground ball through the left side, where Will Benson scores. Tyler Stevenson goes over to third. So we've got runners on first and third with one out. Jake Fraley then hits into a fielder's choice. But again, that's not a strikeout. That's delivering with the runners in the scoring position. And kudos to these guys for getting the job done. But in that fielder's choice, that makes it 5-0 Reds. That takes care of business until the top of the second when Eugenio Suarez on the first pitch he sees hits a bomb and his 100th home run at Great American Ballpark for Eugenio Suarez. So kudos to Gino. I know he was a fan favorite here in Cincinnati. I still miss him. It's one of those things that could he have been a long-term answer at third base for us? Maybe. But the haul that we've gotten in return and everything that he seems to be happy, the Reds seem to be happy with what we've gotten. So we'll let that one lie. But that takes care of it, and that makes it 5-1 Reds. And top of the third, we get up and down. There is an ump delay. There was a foul tip off the face mask of home plate umpire that had happened earlier. He then kind of backs out and goes into concussion protocol. Anyway, it cost us about an inning in what looked like what was going to be a rain-shortened game as the rain started to pick up. And so it was a little worrisome as to whether or not we were going to get 5 in. We're sitting on a 5-1 lead. A lot of times wasted through the ump delay. Things are starting to worry. I'm in worst-case scenario mode. But in the top of the fourth, no blood at all. But in the bottom of the fourth, a Spencer Steer walk, a Jake Fraley base hit, actually pulls their starter. Ryan Nelson leaves. Kendall Graveman comes in after a beautiful Matt McLain bunt that leaves the bases loaded. TJ Friedel then gets hit by a pitch, making it 6-1 Reds. Then Gavin Lux with the big blow that opens this thing up, and a Great American Ballpark special that gets into the first row of the right field seats and his first home run there. And it's a grand slam, and that busts it wide open to 10-1 Reds. They weren't done there, though. Elly then doubles. CES hits a sacrifice fly, sending Elly to third. After a Will Benson walk, Tyler Stevenson hits a single, making it 11-1 Reds. Spencer Steer then – or I said Tyler Stevenson hits a single, making it 11-1 Reds. Spencer Steer then gets a base hit, and Will Benson scores, making it 12-1 Reds. Jake Fraley walks, and that bases are then loaded again. And Matt McLain out on a fielder's choice. But again, not striking out and delivering with runners in scoring position with less than 2 outs and making it 13-1 Reds. That takes us through to the end of it in terms of Reds scoring. But what does happen is Nick Martinez ends up going 6 innings. He goes, his final line is 6 innings pitched, the 1 earned run, the home run to Suarez. He does pitch around 1 walk and 6 hits, but he also adds 6 strikeouts, and he lowers his ERA on the year to 3.70. The top of the 7th, the Reds did bring in the 27th man as a part of the doubleheader, and Joe La Sorsa. He gives us a decent 7th. Brent Suter gives us a good 8th, and then Leon Richardson closes out things for us in the 9th. And your Cincinnati Reds win this game 13-1. So your box score, I had it up here. Hang on. your box score for the Reds actually looks like only you get 13 runs on only 9 hits. Which hits. Is kind of what. It'll be 11. I'm sorry, they got 2 off the cheap guy. I was writing my notes down before the junk time, and then the position player pitcher came into play there. So, but they get 13 runs on 11 hits, but the 13 runs were actually scored on 9. They end up with 11 hits. But because of a lot of walks and a lot of patience and up and down the lineup, you get that opportunity. But a great win for our Cincinnati Reds, who are now, does that make us 32-33 in a game away with a chance to come and close out a series tomorrow. So we'll see how this thing goes. But what are your initial thoughts in game 2, Mike?
Man, that is a beautiful box score. I love to see that. We were given, anytime you score more runs than your hits, that means you were given opportunities through errors or by walks, and you took advantage. So like that, I love to see that. I love it when it's because more often than not, it's like 0 runs, 9 hits or something like that, where we're getting hits all over the place, but we can't string them together. So it's great to see that. This is a really weird thing that I really wanted to see that didn't quite happen in the 4th inning. So Gavin Lux hits a grand slam, right? We get all the way back around, and Friedel's up with 2 outs with second and third. If Friedel were to somehow have gotten on first base, the bases would have been loaded again for Gavin Lux, which would have given him a chance to hit his 2nd grand slam in the same inning. which you should have seen me yelling at the TV. It was like, get on base any way possible, Friedel. Like, I wanted that so badly because that is a feat that has only been done one time in all of baseball history. And it's weird that I know this, but it was done by Fernando Tatis Sr. When he played for the Cardinals. And I really wanted him to have a shot at it again. It would have been off the same pitcher too. Graveman, they just like left him in there to die. They're just like, well, you're cooked, so go ahead. But that would have been wild. That would have been must-see TV if we would have gotten that. But besides that, man, there's not much else you can say here about how, you know, professionally these guys came and made the most out of this situation. When they say hitting's contagious, man, unfortunately, it seems to be true. It's like, okay, here we go. Now everybody's hitting. Let's hope that we can continue that into tomorrow as we try to go for the sweep, and then into Cleveland for the Ohio Cup, which we have on the horizon as well.
Yeah, we want that trophy. I don't care what anybody says. It matters to me, man. It's real to me, like the wrestling. That's right. From the great clip. So it's real to me, David. So no, I'm excited for that as well. Our topics for here in Game 2 that we're going to run through: the team offense, starting with our CES, and the tipping of pitches. I don't know how into the game folks were in terms of watching it live. Something was going on with Ryan Nelson in terms of how his hands were breaking. And I don't know which pitch it was that they were tipping, but something was figured out and it led down the line, and the camaraderie there and the ability to go back and talk to folks. You had guys coming off the field going, hey, this is what's happening. This is what's happening. This is what I see. This is what I see. And it led to more and more production. So love to see that. Nick Martinez gives us 6 strong innings, and it's in a day where it looked like he didn't have his best stuff and he wasn't very pitch efficient. He picked it up in the 4th and 5th. That gave him the opportunity to go out. He delivers a hell of a 6th and gets out of there. I think it was 97 pitches total, and gives us a day where the bullpen could have been shattered by today. If that game goes, extremely long in extra innings, you've already burnt your 3 best arms. If he doesn't give us a long start, you're relying on the likes of Lyon Richardson and Brent Suter to get you through to the end of the game so that you can bring in some other guys in high leverage spots. So kudos to Nick Martinez. Just the overall energy. It felt like there was an energy to the team. And, obviously the tipping pitches thing and the way that the broadcast kind of dove into that, it gave me an opportunity to kind of see the feel of the team, and it feels different. Like it doesn't feel like the same team that we've been watching. And the overall patience at the plate is the 4th topic. So a lot of those may kind of come together and be there, but there was a couple of bombs. I mean, you get a grand slam, and it's hard to think that it's not the deep drive of the game. But Mike, do you have what we would consider our deep drive of the game today?
Believe it or not, his fly out in the previous inning actually went further. So he flew out 398 feet, and it was an out. And then in the next, or that was in the second, and then in the 4th, he goes 351, and he gets a grand slam. Technically, CES's was longer, but let's give it to Lux. I mean, that was huge. We have it going, with let's see, Gavin Lux only 95 off the bat, 351 feet. Out actually in 12 different parks. So it does seem like it scrapes the wall, but 12 different parks it would have gone down in. And I believe that win probability wise, we were probably already in the bag there. I think we only raised win probability 1%, and obviously it would end up at 100% today. But that is our DSC deep drive of the day.
And our deep drive of the day is sponsored by Deep South Commodities. DSC is a leader in renewable commodities for biofuels production, specializing in used cooking oil collection, aggregation, and sales. Visit deepsouthcommodities.com for more information. Thanks, as always, to our friends at DSC. It's a lot more fun to actually get on here and maybe even debate what the deep fly of the game or what the deep drive of the game is when you've got multiple to pick from. And technically, since the game was a carryover from yesterday, Christian Encarnacion-Strand already had the deep drive of the game there in the 6th inning of today's game that finished up. So both of them get their flowers, man. It's a good day.
His home runs, it says that he went 369 on his to the upper deck. I don't know. I felt like that one would have gone further. That's what they say, 369 on that home run in the first inning.
It was a yank. I mean, I thought it was going to land in the upper deck. I think it hit just under the facade. That thing brought rain. That thing was
103 off the bat, out in 27 of 30 parks. So I think the only parks that, I guess Pittsburgh, Baltimore, and Texas. So it's not out. I don't know.
Pittsburgh's got that weird deep left, but it's a deep fly ball, and we'll take it. It's, you know what? It's not. We didn't get out homered by an opposing team, and that's been the problem at Great American for us all year long. I think yesterday they said it was like 40. It's either 41-36 or 46-31. I want to say it's 41-36. We're getting out homered by a significant margin by opposing teams here at Great American, and so to kind of right that ship and get a couple on our end is very helpful. And that's what you have to do when the weather gets warm here. The ball's going to start flying, and you're going to need those boppers. And so it's really exciting to see and what it could be. How about the surprise start of CES as we kind of keep giving him, these kudos? How about the surprise start of him at third base? I didn't think it was an option. Like I didn't even know that was an opportunity.
No, yeah, I think it was great. And I was getting ready for the show, so I didn't see that. He said he made a nice play in the 8th or 9th inning as well. So that's great. Just having that flexibility to me means Hampson's days are numbered, because Hampson is only there, in my opinion, because of the need or Tito's idea that we need somebody to be able to also play third base. So that makes me feel a lot better about where we are with if CES can hit like that and then also play third, so we can keep Steer in the lineup as well. Like that, there's just a lot of moving parts that you can have that makes that a lot better. So I really was very encouraged by that. I want to mention something you talked about Nick Martinez, and I wanted to bring something up about him. This start today is 7 of his last 8 starts. He's gone at least 6 innings. I know in our minds, especially because he's been going as, went back and forth as a reliever. It's like, sometimes this guy doesn't give us length. And I think initially he didn't. And so we kind of have it in our head that he isn't doing it. But recently he's been great. That Cubs game, he only went 4 2/3, but like I said, 7 of his last 8 games, he's gone at least 6 innings. And that's huge. That's huge for us. You mentioned, especially in this doubleheader where, we've already burned our A bullpen, and this guy goes out against a team that is very good against right-handed pitching and, gives up 1 home run, and that's about it. Really looked comfortable after all of that. So I'd like to give him some of his flowers too, because, he had a couple walks today, or at least 1 walk today, but this dude peppers the strike zone and can like recently has been great for just really extending these games and giving bullpens a lighter day. So I just want to give him some flowers there as well.
Yeah, and I think it sets you up in our bullpen's in a better situation than Diamondbacks is going into tomorrow.
Sure.
You had the day off. You had the Lodolo going 6 and taking care of business yesterday, so they get 2 full days of rest. And then today, you still don't throw. I'm trying to think.
Rogers and Barlow didn't pitch today, and Chabot. Neither of those guys.
So you've got 3 fresh arms that are at least 3 days of rest, coming and ready to go for tomorrow. But I would imagine you've still got your dogs that you're ready to go fight with in Ashcraft, Pagan, and Santiago. I don't think any of them, of their innings were too. Well, Ashcraft did go 2, so it's Ashcraft.
Maybe not Ashcraft,
tomorrow. Yeah. But Suter only going 1 gives you the opportunity at long relief. He'll take the ball whenever he needs to, and so with that being a left-handed heavy lineup. Something's up with Corbin Carroll. Us throwing Ashcraft and them not having Corbin Carroll in there.
He didn't even play in that second game. Yeah,
he only pinch hit and never played defense. So something's up there. And I mean, that's a win in our book, not having to play a guy that's contending for the MVP currently.
Sure. It turns out the Reds aren't the only ones that will have a guy just sitting on their bench who's completely unavailable for an injury and just play shorthanded. Reds aren't the only
25.
I'm curious. I would be curious to see whether Diamondback fans are clamoring the same way we are. Maybe it's just because Tito came in with all this fanfare of, he's going to be great. And there's definitely been some times where we've questioned some of the decisions that he's made. I'd be curious if they feel that Torey Lovello, whether they had, because they also had some opportunities. They had Carroll, Josh Naylor, and Pavin Smith all on the bench, all left-handed pitchers that hit right-handers very well. And we only pitched right-handed relievers, and only Corbin Carroll, the guy who may be injured, is the only one that got an at-bat. So it was weird. I don't know. I was expecting to get that, and we didn't. In fact, I think Pavin Smith came in as a defensive replacement after they let the right-handed platoon guy bat against the righty. I was just like, is this how it is all over the league? Maybe we're so conditioned with David Bell, who would do it almost to his detriment, in my opinion.
Yeah.
He was so married to the numbers that he had no feel. And I think that's what the Reds fans were ready to be done with. This is like, we need a guy that's got feel. And now we got a guy that is married to how baseball was done 20 years ago and isn't adapting. So I don't know.
We said we were going to be positive here, Mike.
Yeah, you're right. I'm back. I'm falling back into it. I'm sorry. We won 13-1. We swept the doubleheader today.
We swept the doubleheader today, 13-1. We have a reemergence of a young stud that could be a part of this franchise for a long period of time. But I think it begs the question of, like, is the gut is that what players feed off of? Like, is Elly down there going, you know what? I get it, coach. I'm right there with you. Or is he looking at the back of the baseball card too and going, man, I should have been up there. You just never really know how that interacts with players and where they're at. And, does he trust me? Does he not? But, I don't want to, start throwing rocks where there isn't a reason to. So we win 2 ball games today. However it was managed, we get through it. We get some really big performances out of Encarnacion-Strand, Lux, Nick Martinez, that sets us up to go be in the best position possible to sweep a series tomorrow. I believe we've got Brady Singer on the bump tomorrow. We need a really good start out of Brady Singer. We've seen the mediocre guy that I feel like the last couple of times out, the guy that, there's a reason why he's a 4 ERA, you know what I mean? But he's going to be an innings eater. We need a little bit of dominance tomorrow. Keep us in a ball game, because this is a lineup that can expose Brady Singer for what he is. When they're going right and they're trying to mash, if the weather's, if it gets warm tomorrow in the ballpark, I think Brady Singer could be in a lot of trouble against a lineup like this, who's leading Major League Baseball in run production. So that's my fear. We need another gutsy performance. We need somebody to step up, take the ball, do the job that you're asked, because there's blood in the water. You got to go be a shark and try to get this thing figured out and get yourself back to 500 before we continue on with a couple of series. So I love the idea of just one guy after another, next guy up, and you're going to do all this without Hunter Green for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I think we're going to need to score at least 5 or 6 runs tomorrow to win. This matchup against Brady Singer just doesn't seem that good. We'll get into the matchup a little bit later. I wanted to bring up one more thing, and this doesn't have to be our last thing before we go into the tomorrow's game. But Matt McLain, okay, he had a couple hits, got a couple hits in both of them. But I think the important thing that I'd like to highlight, in his last 3 games, he's walked, which is important, I think, because I think Nick had brought this up before that. He hadn't walked since May 15th. So, whenever you're starting to, these are a pretty good indicator you're starting to see the ball a little bit better. It felt like every at-bat Matt McLain started, it was 0-2, just immediately 0-2. It'd be like he would swing at a ball and then he would take strike 2, and then it's just like, here we are. So, I just wanted to point that out. I know we're still batting 179, but, it feels like lights at the end of the tunnel. I talked a little bit about in the pregame show on kind of the similarities to Corbin Carroll, who had just a dreadful sophomore slump that was batting around the same amount. He was batting about the same batting average in OPS as McLain was in his second year. And this is effectively his second year because of the injury. And look at him now. He's got a 900 OPS and he's got 18 home runs or something like that. So I'm not saying Matt McLain gets to that point. I'm just saying that there are glimmers of hope here that maybe Matt McLain can start seeing the ball better and start hitting the ball better so that we can get production through like 1 through 8. How nuts would that be, right? If we're getting production 1 through 8 and flipping that lineup over, like that's great. That's a team that we can be excited to come and watch every night.
Yeah, and I think it's the one thing that he's not going to do, and I don't think we can expect it of him this year, and I don't know that needs to be the ceiling that we're after, is being that 2-hole hitter. Just get Matt McLain as a 2-hole hitter out of your mind and think of him as a younger Santiago Espinal, and just be in the bottom of the order. Try to flip things over. If you get hot with the bat, great. We've got a second leadoff hitter down there. Go play really good defense at second base, and you're going to be the defensive guy in the 8-man lineup every day. Like that's who he's going to be. That's what he can provide, and that's the benefit that you can get out of Matt McLain. Would we like to see him become an all-star again and have that opportunity to be the 2-hole hitter and protect Elly and stuff like that? Yes, but for right now, that's not realistic. He's going to hit 170 for the foreseeable future. until, it's going to be 180 by next week, and then it'll be up above 200. And at the end of the season, if we look up and he's hitting, 240, it will have been a great second half. And from this point forward, it would have been a great stretch of Matt McLain at the plate. So just temper expectations a little bit. Hopefully it's a sophomore slump. It doesn't mean we give up on him. It just means for right now, let him be what he can be. And that's a bottom of the order guy playing a really good defensive second base, being Elly's right-hand man up the middle. And I think that can carry us a long way. Now, what's crazy, and one of the things I wanted to get into that I hadn't sprung on you yet, is this thing's going to get really interesting from a roster construction. We're going to be back to – it's not reshuffling the deck chairs anymore. It's loading the missiles to try to go to battle, because you've got Noelvi Marte, Jeimer Candelario, and Austin Hayes all due back in the next couple of weeks. And there's not that many bench spots.
There's only two spots. There's only two spots.
Garrett Hampson and Connor Joe are easy choices.
Yeah.
Somebody's the odd man out here. And I wouldn't think that Matt McLain would be there, but I mean, with Santiago Espinal, you don't DFA him, so he's not going anywhere. Will Benson can't go anywhere right now. Maybe Jake Fraley. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, maybe he's the odd man out in that situation. Like, I don't know what it is, but there is we've got enough guys. Like, there's enough depth there once those three are healthy. And there's probably an injury between now and then that it makes this thing non-relevant. And it's not anymore the issue. But as it's on the horizon, I was thinking about it today. I'm going, damn, who that is producing right now has to take a step back and take a demotion or take one of those phantom IL stints that, all of a sudden somebody's got a shoulder impingement or something like that. Maybe that gives you the opportunity to send Matt McLain out for 2 weeks on an IL stint just to go try to get things right. And Santiago Espinal plays that bottom of the lineup second base while CES plays third and Spencer Steer plays first and Jeimer Candelario splits them around. I don't know what it looks like, but the roster management by Tito to this point is less than exciting. And so when we talk about like how we're going to use these guys and get the full use out of your bench and platoon guys the right way and stuff like that, I don't have a lot of confidence that we're going to get it right regardless of who they decide to choose.
Yeah, I got two things for that. One, that's assuming nobody else gets hurt. And I never want to, wish injury on anybody, but, we haven't seen a long track record of that not happening. All you need is somebody to foul one off your foot or to swing in an awkward way. And all of a sudden we got an IL stent again. And my second thing is, I'm not sure how close Marte actually is. I know they're talking about he's taking swings and stuff like that. But obliques injuries, man, like you need that to hit. That's one of those things. It's like running back hamstrings, right? It's just like, yeah, feeling good. And then all of a sudden you got to make a cut. And it's like, uh-oh, not again. And it's like, all right, it feels good. Now I got to make my A swing. Uh-oh. Turns out that oblique wasn't quite ready yet. So I'm just kind of hoping that decision's not for a couple weeks.
It's a good problem to have. I mean, I would rather be in that situation than talking about really Garrett Hampson's the best we can do.
Yeah, well, yeah. I think those days are numbered. Those days are numbered, I think, which is good. And frankly, your odd man now might be Candelario. I know he's our highest paid offensive player, but if he comes back and isn't good, and Marte then goes on a rehab assignment and is tearing it up in AAA, it's I don't know. I don't know how you say, we want this guy. Well, I guess I know how. We watched it at the beginning of the season. But, I think that's probably what they do. Let
Candy go. And that could be the case. The beauty of Christian Encarnacion-Strand playing third base is you don't have to rush anybody.
Oh, I know.
If he's able to play third base on a consistent basis, and you flip around, and I mean he answers so many of our prayers. We need a right-handed power bat. We need to get better against left-handed pitching. We need another third base option. And wham, here comes Encarnacion-Strand. But also kudos to the way that they developed him, because we had been saying a week ago that it should have been CES up here. And he's mashing the ball, and he needs to come up, and they gave him that little bit of extra time, and he's come up and hit with confidence. And so if that's what you have to do with Marte, if that's what you have to do with Candelario, whatever it is, go show me that you can go on a 1 or 2 week tear down in Louisville, and then you can come play with us, because for right now, Don't mess with a good thing. And I hate to call it a good thing because it is just 2 wins. And we still have a losing record, but it feels like there's some momentum building in this lineup. And I want it to happen organically, not just forced hand because guys are ready. Or we think that they're ready. Like I still feel like Tyler Stevenson, could have served that more time down the first time in his way back, and now he seems to be seeing the ball. So come back, be ready to produce, because when you come up, we've got to kind of lock in and make this thing go. So we're in the chat, we're seeing a ton of Santiago Espinal slander, and I get it. I'm right there with you. The fact that we put the game on a tee for him last night with a runner on third base and less than 2 outs, and the situational batter that he is, and all of his greatness, wasn't able to deliver. I was super upset with it last night. I just, in taking a look at this thing, it's hard to argue as to why he would be in the 2-hole or in the lineup really at all. Like it's really getting rough. I mean, you're talking about a guy that's got a negative WAR right now. His batting average is now down to 245. At one point in time, he was up over 300. In the month of May, he was up over 300. I think that was at the start of the month. But in the last 7 days, he's hitting 48. Not 148. That's just 48. He's one for what is that? He's one for June after only having 7 hits in the last 14 days and hitting 234. His last 28 days, he's 240. And so this thing is trending in the wrong direction. So his on-base percentage is, he hit 48, 163, and 180 in his last 90 days. I was looking at his on-base percentage. But his on-base percentage is down to a 91 in the last 7 days, 234 in the last 14, and 225 in the last 28 days. You can't have that in a 2-hole. You can't. And you can't have 2 of those in your lineup with him and McLain both struggling. It's got to be one or the other. And now that Encarnacion-Strand's back, I think we can finally get that answer.
Yeah, I think in a with all our horses ready, I like the Gavin Lux Espinal platoon. What is it? The Santiago, or no, it's so I heard somebody's talking about it where they basically shove their names together. Or is like Santiago Luxinol or something like that. It's like that's what we need. Just like have that platoon there where we got Lux against lefties or against righties and Espinal against righties, and I think that is putting those guys in the position that they need to be successful. So hopefully we'll, as we get people back, we'll be able to do that. We saw, if we have the bullet of putting Espinal or CES at third base, then that's going to take some of it's going to take some of the heat off of having to play him against right-handed pitching. So I appreciate what he has done and how he was hitting against lefty. He's struggling right now, and let's just put him lower in the lineup against left-handed pitching and let him do what he career-wise has been able to do, and that's field the ball well and hit left-handed pitching. So let's just put this guy in spots that where he can be successul. That's just where I feel about it.
And I'm perfectly fine with that. He's a Major League Baseball player, and he can contribute on the Major League level. I don't think he's leaving anytime soon. I don't think he's the option or the odd man out when we talk about these guys getting back and being healthy. He is just we put way too much stock and way too much opportunity geared towards him. It's the batting average, the slumps, those things happen. Everybody else on this team is slumped just as bad, if not worse than he has. And so it's the lack of power. I think that does it for me at the top of the order, that you're at his best, it's base hits. At Spencer Steer's best, there's power involved. So if they're both going to hit 230, but I can slug a little bit more with Spencer Steer, and if that's your 50-50 decision, give me Spencer Steer, because this is a game of long ball, and Santiago Espinal is not winning you ball games. Spencer Steer can win you ball games with one swing of the bat. So I feel like the upside, also give me the younger guy, but also give me a better defensive glove. And I mean, these are tough calls. Optimistic John, I know you're jacked at me, man, and I apologize. You're a big Santiago Espinal guy, and so I apologize there. But it's just the 2-hole, the fact that he wasn't in game 2. Now that we've got some guys healthy, maybe we can take less off of his plate, and maybe he can go back to being that production. Maybe he can be the best pinch hit guy. If he's a situational hitter, maybe he's that guy that comes off the bench, because we still need to find that too. We need to find that late inning, left-handed reliever, a right-handed bat off the bench. If that's what Santiago Espinal can provide, then maybe he's a part of the world championship team in that capacity.
Yeah, we got to. I thought we were staying positive here, Eric. Remember, we have a good super chat from Bill Furman 14. It says Victory Chewy and beer here in Cornwall on the Hudson in New York. So I like that. I love that. I hope everyone else is kicked back, enjoying 2 wins in one day for the Reds, and enjoying some much needed excitement or happiness when it comes to this team. I know that I definitely am going to feel that way for the rest of the evening.
Yeah, no, it's awesome, and it's a good night. We're gonna catch some more rain here in Cincinnati, but nothing's drowning out my victories today. So getting to them one day is a special feeling. What all do we have lined up for tomorrow, Mike?
Yeah, so tomorrow we're starting at 1:40 down at Great American Ballpark. We have right-hander Zach Gallen going for the Arizona Diamondbacks, and then we mentioned earlier Brady Singer will be on the bump for the Reds. Zach Gallen has a 5.13 ERA this year. He has been nails these past couple years. He's been their ace, and this year he's really struggled. He is, I think part of it is command. Part of it just is he's lost a tick of velocity. And when that happens, sometimes your stuff doesn't play as well. And it looks like his last couple outings, especially, like, I guess he went 7 against the Braves, but before that, 5 innings, 5 earned runs against the Pirates. Right. And then 5 2/3 and 4 earned runs against the Cardinals. And then 5 innings, 6 earned runs against Colorado in Arizona. So not even in Coors Field. So he's really struggled. And I think he's maybe only given up 0 earned runs once. But yeah, his ERA is up there, and he's frankly deserved it. So hopefully the Reds can come out and take advantage of that. I was looking at some of the splits. I'll tell you who I do not want in the lineup. Garrett Hampson is 0 for 12 with 6 strikeouts against Zach Gallen. So pretty clearly he will not be in the lineup. But he is, boy, we're going to be throwing tables and things like that. Connor Joe is also 1 for 10. So those are guys that I'm pretty clearly will not be in the lineup. But looks like Jake Fraley's 1 for 2 with a single. But for the most part, the only other person that's really faced him for an extended period of time is Gavin Lux, who is 2 for 16 with 5 strikeouts. So he's I think Stevenson's 0 for 3. Steer is 0 for 2. Trevino's 0 for 2. Friedel's 0 for 5. McLain hasn't faced him. So it's just like, he's pitched pretty well against the Reds recently, but this year has not been good for him. So hopefully we're able to take advantage of that and really put some runs up there, because I think we're going to need it because Brady Singer has been, we talked about it. He'll give you innings, but man, he is not afraid of giving up some runs. I'm trying to look up some of these, some of the matchups against him. It looks like Suarez is 2 for 9 with 2 singles, so no home runs. Gurriel is 2 for 5. Alec Thomas is 2 for 4. Corbin Carroll is 2 for 3 with a double and a triple. So let's hope that he stays on the bench one more time. So it looks like he's probably only faced some of these guys once, and they did pretty good. So hopefully we're able to get a decent set of innings out of him, and then a good run from our offense, so that we can, end this series with a sweep, go into Cleveland on a 3-game win streak. How does that feel? How's that sound?
It would be awesome. And I think you've got a Tito that the one thing I think we can all say that he has done well this year is manage the bullpen, and win to pull guys and things like that. So he's got the luxury of having a quick hook tomorrow. If Brady Singer's not there, and you've got a lineup that, until we saw Encarnacion-Strand at third base, I didn't even know was a thing. But when you've got Fraley, Benson, Friedel, Lux all in the lineup against the right-handed pitcher, I get excited and feel like we can produce. Elly from the left side. That's 5 dudes that I expect to do well. Christian Encarnacion-Strand's on a streak right now. Spencer Steer, Matt McLain. Give me that lineup and let's go put up 6 runs. Maybe we can mash early. That was one thing I didn't mention in the box score recap. Did you know that your Cincinnati Reds lead Major League Baseball in first inning runs at 55? We scored 55 runs in the first inning, past the Dodgers with that 5 spot we put up in the first today. So cool stat to see that we get off the books, or we get off the on the right foot on a frequent basis, but really awesome to just have a stat like that can say, hey, you know what? If we can jump on somebody early, we can really make dividends. But it's that late inning stuff that was really nice to see in game 1 today. You get a come from behind win, you get your first walk off, you get your first score of the ghost runner in extra innings. All those things combined, just nothing but positive, and hopefully gets everybody a little more relaxed and able to play ball the way that we know these guys can. They have produced in the past. And just in case you weren't happy enough, have you watched the Chattanooga Lookouts box score today?
No, I haven't. What is it?
Our boy Chase Burns, I think, had a perfect game going into the 6th.
Gosh.
Chase ends up going 7 innings, gives up 3 hits, and lowers his season ERA to 1.29 as the Lookouts beat the Smokies. I'm not sure where that team's out of. I'm terrible.
Smokies.
The Tennessee Smokies.
Yeah.
You beat them 3-0 down there in Double-A, and Austin Hendricks hit a bomb. That gave the Reds that opportunity to pull out. So awesome to see. There's still some excitement down below. I know we talked about there's not a lot of ready guys from a position player standpoint, but man, when you've got a dude that is shaping up to be the future ace of this staff to go right along with Hunter Green, who is under contract for the foreseeable future, it's fun and it's exciting times. There's still that momentum that needs to be felt with this team. Health, wellness, and the opportunity to win games in the middle of the summer. Give me Tito. Let's go. I'm still riding. Let's do this thing. But you've got to set up for tomorrow. We will be 140, like you said, from Great American Ballpark, looking for a sweep before we go on to a 3-game stretch in Cleveland to face the Guardians, and then we will have an off day on Thursday. So, again, you've got that bullpen. Tax them. Wear them out. You've got an off day built into the schedule next week, the second one in a week. So go ahead and take it and use it to your leverage. I trust that tomorrow we'll make some decisions that I think we'll all second guess in the time, but be excited about once we get that victory and we take a sweep over these guys and we're back to 500 heading up north. And we only need to win one. We only need to win one up there, and we're bringing that trophy back and we're floating it down the river, baby. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Before we go, we got another super chat from Rocky M. It says, in honor of my nephew's first home run, my nephew hit his first Little League home run over the fence. So, dude, congratulations to Rocky's nephew.
That's huge.
That is. I can remember very distinctly when that happened as well in my life. It's something that you genuinely will never forget. So that's awesome. That's great. You got 2 Reds wins and a first home run. Not much more that you can be excited about. That's awesome. I'm glad to hear it.
So Rocky definitely doesn't need it, but our friends at 988 want to still remind you that you can call or text 988 anytime, day or night. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is a place to get support for anything related to mental health, whether it's an immediate crisis, simply wanting to find out how to connect with care, or anything in between. It's a 100% confidential, secure, and anonymous way to reach out for help when you don't know where else to turn. To connect, call or text 988 or mantherapy.org to get help, and just understand that it's okay not to be okay. Hopefully everybody's got 988 ingrained in their minds by now. And it's a very common, thing that you can, tell your friends about and let people know that there's somebody out there waiting on the other end of the line if they ever find themselves in that desperate spot. That gets slid into the end of the show today because your Cincinnati Redlegs won 2 ball games. There's nothing to be down about. Life is good.
That's right.
Life is good. So, Mike, it's always a blast, man. Can't wait to do this with you. Next weekend, I'll be taking off. I've got the Savannah Bananas down at Great American for one of the nights of the Reds games, and then I'm actually going to be at Dave Matthews at Riverbend on Friday. So it'll be you and Corey T, I believe, next weekend, nice. Getting this thing figured out. But always a blast, dude. Awesome to come on here. We actually I feel like we got 3 games out of this, so we'll call it a 3-game winning streak.
I know.
So no, but chat, we love you. Make sure you like and subscribe. Appreciate everything in the back and forth there. You guys are unbelievably faithful, and we hope that you enjoy tuning in. And as this team gets hot, those numbers are going to continue to climb, and you guys will be the OGs that have been here, through the good times and bad. So we love every single one of you. We appreciate you. If you're listening in a podcast form on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever that might be, make sure you leave us a 5-star review. Let us know how we're doing. We'll try to get things figured out and get it fixed up to where you guys enjoy this as much as possible, because it's a blast talking about this team. It's even more fun when they win 2 games in a day. Anything else to finish us off, Mike?
Nope. And this one belongs to the Reds. There
That's
you go.
right,
I don't think
baby.
we mentioned that one today. We got
There
two
it
of them.
is. There it is. And this one belongs to the Reds. And as always, and we love you, and we will see you tomorrow, and go Reds.